This will be an explanation for all the other boards, game development, novel publication, because are all set up the same. So first of all, we have about this board list in the left here. In this list, we can see different cards. The first card represents the title of the board we are on. If you click on this card, you can see the rules of the board we are on and the link of the video explaining the board. Okay, so here you can see the description of the rules, how to use each list, and the video I'm recording now, you are able to see it also. Okay, secondly, you can see the reference documents card, which is about all the important documents related to this board. For example, in this case, an important document could be the presentation of our company for investors. Thirdly, you can see the card label used on this board, the card label used on this board, which is about the only labels that can be used within this board. Never they must be changed, otherwise everything goes back to being confusing. After that, we have the goals of this board, monthly and weekly, and it is important that the format of the goals title remains the same. So as you can see here, so need to remain the same, and also the internal formatting. So to recap, the goals are organized annually, monthly, and weekly. The annual goals are set within the company overview board, but we have a reminder here as well. As you can see in the description, we have yearly goals, and then we have each month with each goals for each month. So the monthly ones must be propedeutical to achieve the yearly goals, and the weekly goals need to be propedeutical to achieve the monthly goals. And eventually, I wanted to include the current project in this list to set the project label as well. By doing this, the team members are clear about the goals and the projects that are being worked on and can use the project label. So this label here within the task. So as you can see, I've used it here in the in progress, for example, task I'm doing, so to do 5 interviews. I've used the label of the project who is related this task, so student Inc. So we know each task what project is related to. So moving forward, we have the other list, which are brainstorming, which is a list for ideas related with this board. Then we have the to-do list, which is a list for tasks that are planned to. Then we have the in progress list, which is a list for tasks that are in working phase. Then we have the impending list. This is a list for tasks that are waiting for input and cannot proceed without that information. Then we have the blocked list. This is a list for tasks that are unable to proceed and need help. And then we have the completed list. This is a list for all completed tasks. And I also added the useful information that can be, anything related with this board that can be useful, any, task you have done useful, or link, YouTube link, video, or any kind of thing that can be useful for you for this board. And the meetings list, which is very important for the meetings regarding this board, so the business development board. So now I want to explain a little bit in deep how is gonna be the workflow within this board. So regarding the brainstorming list, this list can contain cards that can be, for example, tasks that you think may be useful but are not sure about, tasks that you want to request from someone else and then wait for them to accept the request by changing the label from requested, as here is the label. So for example, I go here, improve the brand of the company. Okay, I go to a label, I go to request. If I want to call who is the person who I requested to do this idea or to think about this idea, I go here in the member section and I invite, for example, Ken. So in the brainstorming section, you can see that there is a requested task, so they improve the brand of the company, and I requested this task to Ken. So once Ken will see this task on the brainstorming section, he will change the label from requested to one of the three labels we have, so priority, urgent, or slowly. So if he accepted this task, so he will change the labels and he will use, for example, priority. Okay, and so he will put in to-do list, and he will put also a start date. Okay, so now you can see June 30. So this is very important. Then you can put, of course, ideas on how to improve or change something. And so do not forget to include the start date of the card to remind you when this idea was born. So for example, here, these are all mistakes. So I need to put the date when this happened. So I go here to the date, I go to start date, and I save this. Okay, start date was today. So here we have, so it's needed just to go to the dates here in the right. I click start date instead of due date because usually it's pre-imposted in due date. Instead, we click due date to eliminate the tick, and we put the tick on start date, and we put the start date. Okay. So don't forget to include the start date of the board to remind you when this ideas was born, and don't forget to add some members if you want them to know about this idea, as we did for the improve the brand of the company task. Okay, so then we go to the to-do list, which is a list that can contain cards that can be, for example, task you have planned to do. This means that if you plan to do this task, need to be assigned to someone, to a member of the board, and need to have a due date. Okay, just in this case, just if this task is assigned to someone, so for example I did a mistake here because it wasn't assigned to anyone, assign it to someone and have a due date, just in this case you can put this task on the to-do list. Otherwise, if you don't know we need to do this task, if you don't know the due date, this will be just an idea, a brainstorming idea. Okay, once you have a due date and someone is assigned to someone, can be in the to-do list, and once this task will start work, the member who is assigned will start working on, you can move this on in progress. Okay, list. The in progress list can contain cards that can be, for example, tasks that are being worked on and are therefore being developed. Okay, so this is very straightforward. Then we have the pending list. So during the during the progress of a task, of course, there can be multiple problems, and so we can have a pending list that can contain cards that can be, for example, tasks for which help is needed from some other team member, tasks that need to be confirmed or checked by another teammate. And it's very important to not forget to write a comment within the tab indicating who you need and what the problem is if there is a problem. So to mention, as we can see here, you can see I need help to understand all the activities of our company and the whole planning to create a spreadsheet. So I mentioned the whole board here because I was needed the whole board for this task, but you can also mention here, anyone you want. So if you just go here and you click one other member. Okay, so don't forget to do this. Every time you move a task in the pending list, you need to explain in the comments why you moved this in the pending list, so what is the problem and who you need to solve the problem. Then we have the blocked list that can contain cards that can be, for example, tasks that you don't know how to complete. So you have no idea what is causing the problem and therefore who can help you. So you need help from the whole team. Don't forget to write a comment describing the problem in general, and also, you know, citing the entire forum. So in this case, for the blocked one, you don't know what is the problem. You don't know who can give you help. So you put the task here, you click on the task, you go in the comments, and you write, for example, wall board, all members, okay? I am stuck because I do not know who interview anymore. Is someone a suggestion? You know, you click this, so the whole board will be notified because there is a blocked task in the list, and we will be able to fix that. You know, once you fix that, of course, you come back in progress. You come back in progress also from the pending in progress. So then we have the completed task. We can contain tasks that can be, for example, of course, completed task. That's it. So don't forget to put a check mark. So once, for example, I completed the create a train video for Trello board. It's very important to check mark in each checklist. So for example, if here I had a checklist of you know, checklist. Okay, for example, I had to do video for business development and video for company overview. Don't forget to check this, okay? Because if you have completed this task, that means that these are completed too, you know? So really don't forget this, because this will make so confusion if you put here a task. So for example, you had a task in progress, you have done just one of these tasks, then you do the video for business development, but you don't check this. So you put directly this task in the completed list, then, you know, the other teammates will ask you, man, why did you put that on completed if you didn't complete yet? So it's very important to check that. And also it's very important to check due date. In this way will be everything completed, okay? This is very important, really. Then we have the useful informations list that can contain cards that can be, for example, useful random information about this board, useful links on this tab, useful videos, tutorials on this board. Don't forget to enter the start date to remember when you enter this information, as usual. And then we have the meetings list. In the meeting list can contain cards that can be meetings that you are planning to have for this board, or meetings that you are requesting for this board. So you just create a tab for the specific meeting, and then, so just create a tab. So, you know, meeting with the whole team, okay? But if you want to request the meeting, you put the required label. So you go here, you put the required label, okay? You put the required label and you assign the tab to the members you want to have the meeting with. And okay, so for example, I want to have the meeting with in this case, meeting with Ken. I add the member Ken here, okay? It's requested to have a meeting with Ken. You need this meeting before, for example, the 7th of July. So you go here and you put the 7th of July. So I'm requesting a meeting with Ken that can be done. You know, it's useful doing this meeting for me until the 7th of July. Otherwise, will not be any more useful, you know. So this is very important. Then you can have a discussion in Slack and you can understand which is the best day to fix this meeting. If instead you are planning to have a meeting with your teammates, so you are in call together, you say, okay, what is the next time we have a meeting? So you are all together, so you know what is, you know, it's not a requested meeting, you know, it's just you know each other that you will have a meeting. Simply enter them as members. So you are in call, maybe I'm call with Ken and with Thomas. So we are thinking about having a meeting. So we just add the members, we don't put the request label, and we put a due date also this time. But this time is a different. So in this case, the due date is different because it's not a requested meeting. So in this case, the due date is not the date until I can do the meeting, but is the date actually when will happen the meeting. Okay. So if you have this here, okay, meeting with Thomas, okay. So here I put just remove from cards, okay, and here I put requested, for example, okay. Here I have, so this is the first one, the meeting with Ken is a requested meeting until 7 July from Ken. But if I'm in call with Thomas, for example, and we both agree to have a meeting on a certain date, I just add him as a member, and also myself, also here myself. And then I put the due date that will be, for example, 6th of July. That will be the date exactly when the meeting will happen. Instead, when there is the requested label, this is the date until this meeting can happen. Once I have a discussion with Ken, we organize the meeting. Instead of having 7th of July, maybe we can have 5th of July. At this stage, I can eliminate the request label, and without the request label, the date you will see here is the actual date of the meeting. Okay, this was a little bit tricky. So this is all for now, and the same thing does work with the other boards, and so that's it. Okay, just a very fast explanation of the cards, more in details. So let's create a to-do card. So create a video recording for Google Drive. Okay, this is the title of the task. Then we have a description section and an activity section. Okay, so on the description section we can write here everything. We can attach some files, and is the place where actually all the information about this task happen. Okay, the activity section is instead about all the comments between me, that maybe I'm working on the task, and someone else who want to add some information on my task. Okay, so never add something within the description of the task without the permission of the task owner, but always write in the comments what you want to say, what are the suggestions, and then maybe the owner can add this on the description section. On the right side we have the join. So in this case I wasn't joining this task, so there was no members. Now there is a member, that is myself, but you can set up the members from the members bottom here. You can add whoever you want, or you can just click and remove from the card. Then we have the labels, where you can set up the labels that already are there. So don't create any new labels here. You don't have to create any new labels, because otherwise the people will not understand what you want to say with this label. You have this already set up labels: priority, requested, urgent, slowly. And in this case, because we have a project of studenting and business development, we have studenting, but in the other boards you will have the others project you are working on. And so just decide if this to do is a priority, an urgent, or a slowly. So in this case I will put as a priority. Then we have a checklist button that will allow you to create a number of small tasks with a title. So for example, the checklist is okay. We go add, we can add any task. So recording of Google Drive, so recording of first section, second section, this section. Okay, so we have a checklist, but we can add more checklist. Okay, checklist number 2. So these are, for example, I have to create a video recording for Google Drive, but maybe it takes more small tasks to do, so I just create a checklist where I have all my small tasks. Once I've done this, I just put a tick here, and you can see that is showing that all the free tasks within this big task are done. Okay. Then we have the dates. So this is very important. I explained how to use this: due date, start date. Then we have the attachment, where we will have a directly connection with Google Drive, and so we will get any documents or any other documents you use or image you use for this cards for creating recording for Google Drive. You need to attach everything here, and cover is practically don't need, it's just a cover of the card, but usually I don't use that. That's it. Yeah, this is all. Okay, there we are. We are in Trello workspace right now, and we are specifically in the board of company overview. I want to start this video talking about the company overview. So in this video, I will just show you the basically movements and rules that is better follow when we are within Trello. So for the company overview, I just set up company milestones, teams, current projects, up next, brainstorming, company goals, completed projects, bravos, reference documents, and meetings. So the company milestones, as you can see, are very important information about our company, and I put it here the strategy plan that Pratt and I have done before, just to have a rough idea of what is our roadmap for us. Okay. Then we have our mission that need to be filled out, vision and rules of the company. This is very important, general information about the company that can be useful for employees and both also for stakeholders. Then we have the teams right now present in the company. So you can see the business development side. We have myself, Pratna and Thomas. I should add also Ken and Jacob. I think like business development side is, I think most of the people are part of that. Then we have the game development team, where we have for now Jacob and Ken. I need to add the other. Novel publication, where we have Jacob and Thomas. I don't know who else. Then we have a very important list that is current projects, where we have the current projects we are working on. This is very useful, to understand where we are, what we are doing. So we have the demo release now, the student ink, the editing of book 1 and the writing of book 2. Then we have the list up next, when we have all the future projects that we plan to do. Then we have a brainstorming section that is always useful, where you can put some ideas about anything about the company, in general terms. So for example, here there was some game name ideas, some website optimization, some book publication ideas, some ideas to make money and stuff like this. So just general ideas about the company, maybe some ideas about the projects, the future projects, or the rules. Then this list is about the company goals. So what I thought about, what was my thinking for this list. As you know, 2022 we weren't alive as a company, so I just made an example. I will show you later that in the other boards, business development, game development, novel publication, seller teammates, that in the left side of the Trello board, of the Trello interface, you can see for each of these boards we have some goals. So we have monthly goals for game development, weekly goals for game development, and the same thing we have for the business development side and for the novel publication we should have. This is very important because outside of the projects, we need to have goals to improve ourselves weekly and monthly, and understand really how to every week what we are doing more than the last week, and stuff like that. So for example, I just put it on an example. You can see here yearly goals. This is something also very important. So yearly goals, I put just x1, x2, x3 just for example, but we need to have a yearly goals. Then we will have the monthly goals to achieve August, July to achieve the yearly goals. So for example, X1 is, I don't know, increase monetization from the first game of tier 3, 5, 10, 20%, and so you try to create some tasks, some goals within each month that can allow to finish the goal, to achieve the goal of the year. So for example, I say the year that the goal yearly is X1, so the task in August to achieve the goal X1 is 1, and the task in July to achieve the goal X1 is X. So of course, monthly we will have some goals, and the combination of these goals will be the achievement of the final goal of the year. The same thing for the weekly, so it doesn't change anything. So, but in this case, instead of having the yearly goals, we have the monthly goals. So how I achieve the monthly goals, and we will have different goals weekly to achieve the monthly goals. So this is I think it's very useful. And also, as I showed you here, there is year 2022. This is to make you understand, guys, that we can use this list as an archive where we have all the past achievements and goals we did during the last years. Then we have the completed projects, so self-explanation, completed project, that's it. We have the bravos to someone who did something well, or some team or some specific person. The reference documents, maybe here for the company overview board, that this can be, financial statements or something like documents important for the company. And then we have meetings related specifically with the company overview, so maybe team meetings with the whole team. So this is all for the company overview board. Okay, see you.